Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Jan Michael here. The reviews are done. Over the last couple of days, I've been reviewing every single anime that is nominated for Anime of the Year. And if you haven't done so, please go back and check out those videos. I really do have a fun time making them. They're just quick little thought videos, and I try to make them entertaining for the viewer as well. If you've already done so, or even if this is your first video, then welcome to my final Anime Award predictions. Now, before I jump into the predictions, a couple of real quick things. First, the Anime Awards are a little bit different this year. They don't incorporate all of 2022. No, the eligibility time frame is actually going to be from October of 2021 to September of 2022. So, the last season of anime is not going to come into play here. That's why you don't see things like Chainsaw Man nominated. It will be eligible for the following year. The reason for this, I do not know. At least not that I can find. I only have theories to go off of. And the main one is that it's for licensing agreement, because they do have to show the clips of the different nominees. And that can be a nightmare in terms of getting all the agreements, especially with how strict Japan is with their anime. So I understand them wanting to kind of give themselves a little bit of extra time to get those rights, but it doesn't make sense since the show is in March. Like, if the show was still in January, sure, I get that you want that extra buffer of time, but I mean, March is almost like another season of anime, so you gotta give yourself half a year to get those licensing agreements? That seems kind of extreme, but whatever. I'm not here to let it bring me down. I'm still super excited to share my thoughts and give you my predictions. Before we get into that though, second thing, the Anime Awards are actually taking place in Japan this year for the first time. And as such, the time frame for us here in America is a little bit crazy. So where I live, the show is going to be live at 1:30 in the morning. And yes, I will be staying up to watch it and record, give my impressions. And then, of course, I will share those with you the following day, or if I'm too tired or too busy, the day after. So please bear with me for that last video. With that out of the way, let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into the predictions. Best English voice acting performance. I should mention before I jump into the voice acting performance categories, I'm only doing two. English, because that's what I speak, and second, Japanese, because that's where these originate from. I'm not going to go into every single language one because there's quite a bit of them, and to be fair, I just don't have an ear for different languages. I mean, I already have a hard enough time picking which Japanese performances is the best. So, yeah, that's, to me, I'm only going to stick with these two languages, so keep that in mind. But for Best English Voice Acting Performance, I'm going to go Amanda Lee for My Dress Up Darling. She plays Marin Katagawa, who is the main lead character of the show. I listened to all of the English voice actors for each of these animes, and I think she's the one that honestly really does the best job. But I can also see maybe Zach Aguilar or Zeno Robinson maybe taking home the win. I'm not too confident in Zeno just because it's for a movie, so I don't know how much that's going to come into play, but I could see Zach taking it. He did a really good job as David Martinez for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I can't see anybody else. I thought maybe Natalie, I might like her performance, but I'll be honest, I didn't quite care for it. That's just a me preference. Obviously, this is popularity, so maybe she could still take it home. But for me, it's Amanda Lee. That's what I'm going to go for here. For Best Japanese Voice Acting Performance, I'm going to go for Atsumi Tanezaki for Spy Family. She plays Anya. And, I mean, I don't know how you could beat that. There's just so many people that have done compilations of all the cute things that she says in the show. So I think this is going to be an easy victory for her and Spy Family. It has a shit ton of nominations, and I can easily see it going home with a shit ton of them as well. For Best Romance, I really think it comes down to two. First, My Dress Up Darling. That was a big popular show at the beginning of the year, and it's really cute, especially with its romance. The only thing that makes me pause is that there is no relationship that really gets built. That's part of the lore of the show, is that whole, oh, the will they, won't they type of deal. So I can't quite say it's full-on romance just yet. But what I can say it is in Kaguya-sama, Love is War ultra romantic. We finally got the conclusion. I know there's more to the series, if you will, but I don't believe we're going to be getting that in anime form. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And even if we do, from what I've read, it doesn't really follow the main characters anymore. It starts focusing on other characters. Really, the two main characters, their story's done. And so we do get the conclusion of their romance. And as such, I can easily see this being the thing that's on most people's minds as a complete package and a real romance. So that's what I'm going to vote for. I'm going to go with Kaguya-sama. It's a great, funny show. And yes, its romantic moments are very cute as well. For best fantasy, I gotta go with Demon Slayer here. I can't see really anything else taking it. Yes, Ranking of Kings Core 2 is nominated for Anime of the Year, but first and foremost, just because you're nominated for Anime of the Year doesn't mean that you win the individual categories. And second of all, Demon Slayer is just so goddamn popular, I don't see how this would lose out. Maybe Made in Abyss, because I know that one has its popularity to it as well, but I don't think it's anywhere near as popular as Demon Slayer, so my vote's gonna go there. For Best Drama, I think it comes down to one of two here as well. First, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, or Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Now again, this is not because they're nominated for Anime of the Year, but because they're very popular. At least Attack on Titan is very popular. So I can see just on a popularity basis, people just throw the vote in because that's the thing that they've seen and they like. So there's that for you. Personally, I think Cyberpunk has better drama, and I do feel it has the potential to go home all the way with Anime of the Year. Is that maybe a stretch? Probably. Again, it's probably not the most popular of the bunch, but I don't know. I feel like there is enough backing behind it. Plus, you can watch it on Netflix. It's very easy to get a hold of it. So maybe there's just enough backing for it to win a lot of the awards there. So yeah, I'm going to go with Cyberpunk Edgerunners on this one. For Best Comedy, Spy Family. I think this one is a done deal. Maybe My Dress Up Darling or Kaguya-sama can sneak off with the win, but Spy Family just has so many nominations that it makes me think it's incredibly popular. So yeah, I'm gonna be throwing Spy Family quite a bit of awards, and I think comedy is pretty much in the bag for them. For Best Action, you have one of three that could potentially take it in this one. I think, once again, Attack on Titan has the possibility of going home with it. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, I think, has a good chance of going home with it. And Demon Slayer has a really good chance of going home with it. I think out of all of these, Cyberpunk is probably the weakest of the three in terms of its action. It has good action, but I think it's just well-rounded in all of its genres and its themes that action's not always the first thing you think about when you think of that show. But it is what you think about when you think of Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. And I really think it's a coin flip here. You can go either route and have a good shot of getting it right. Personally, I love the action in Demon Slayer. I think that last battle, god damn, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I was at the edge of my seat with Attack on Titan, but it being apart, that also kind of affects my train of thought for the whole package. I know we're talking about just the action, but it's just the way my brain works. So I'm gonna go with Demon Slayer on this one. The must protect at all costs character. Can I just say that I hate that they basically fused Best Boy and Best Girl into this one award. I liked it better when it was just the two. But whatever, we're gonna choose here and are gonna choose Anya for Spy Family because she is the most cutest, newest character of the bunch. I think Boji also has a really good shot of taking it, but he won last year, so I think people are just ready to give it to somebody new. And I think for many, it's gonna be Anya that they vote for. Best Supporting Character, also gonna go to Anya for Spy Family. Though, I wouldn't mind seeing Rebecca take it home for Cyberpunk, because I thought her character was very, very well done in that show. But Anya just has more screen time and has a lot more cute moments, so I think everyone's just going to follow suit and vote that way. Best Main Character I feel can go a multitude of ways. I think David could take it. I think Eren can take it. I personally am not a fan of Lloyd's character for Spy Family, but again, it's just such a popular show. And look at all the goddamn awards it's nominated for that I could see maybe that one taking it as well. For me though, I'm going to go with Marin Kitagawa for My Dress Up Darling. I think she has the best personality amongst this bunch. She's very interesting to follow. She has a lot of cute moments. She's bold. I guess that's the word you would use for that. But she still has her kind of shy and sweet moments as well. So she's just the all-rounded package, I guess you would say. So yeah, for me, that's definitely the one that I would vote for. But again, it can go any one of these directions here. Director can go also a multitude of ways. And keep in mind that director winning doesn't necessarily mean that the anime goes on to win anime of the year. The last 2 years that I've been doing this, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe the director and the anime of the year were two completely different series. So, is that a sign? I do not know. As such, I think the ones that really have a good shot of taking it are Hiroyuki Imaishi for Cyberpunk Edgerunners and Kazuhiro Furuhashi for Spy Family. I guess you can count maybe like the Demon Slayer and the Attack on Titan directors as well, but I really think it's going to come down to these two. And I think whoever wins this one means that there's a good shot that the opposite can go home with Anime of the Year. So what the fuck do I do? I'm honestly going to go with Haruyuki Imaishi for Cyberpunk Edgerunners because I think director-wise and the shots that they get, the angles that they get are much more interesting than the ones in Spy Family. Not saying that the Spy Family one is weak by any means, but just it's more creative in Cyberpunk. And I think the one award that they do usually give it to the one that I agree with is for director. They give it to the most unique of the bunch. So I think that's what everyone's going to vote for. We'll see if I'm right. Best anime song, which, by the way, I think is completely stupid, especially if you're keeping opening sequence and ending sequence awards. I mean, a lot of those are just repeats into this one, so I don't know. I think if you're going to keep this one, you got to get rid of the other two, or you get rid of this one and keep the other two. That's my personal thoughts. That being said, I think New Genesis can take home this one from One Piece Film Red. The reason for it is that the singer of this song is incredibly popular in Japan, from what I understand, and so maybe a lot of people here in America will also kind of follow suit because they tend to, the really hardcore anime fans tend to consume everything Japan. So I think they'll vote that way as well. But I'm not 100% confident if that's the way it's gonna go, but it's just what I'm feeling right now. Best film, gonna go One Piece Film Red, because out of all of these ones, there's one that did gangbusters in the theater, and that was One Piece Film Red. Although, personally, I think I would give it to Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I thought that one was actually the better film, but again, I don't think we're going with best here. I think, what did everybody go out and see? What made a shit ton of money? It was One Piece Film Red. For best score, I think it also comes down to two. I think No Name for Spy Family or Akira Yamaoka for Cyberpunk Edgerunners has a good claim to this one. Again, I guess you can make the arguments that some of the other ones do have a good shot, but I think really your top two are these ones. And once again, similar to director, I think the songs and music in Cyberpunk are much more interesting. Like they fit the world very well, and you can kind of pick them out of a lineup. But I do think that the score in Spy Family is also very good. I actually listened to the entire soundtrack to each and every one of these just to get a good idea, and I was very bored by a lot of them. The only two I thought were outstanding were Cyberpunk and Spy Family. So even if I'm wrong, as long as it goes to one of these two, I'm actually completely okay with this one. Best ending sequence, I don't know. I saw all of these twice just to kind of get a good concept of the animation and the song, and I'm gonna be honest, I think they're all fairly weak. Not that they're bad, I don't think any of these straight out suck, but they're just kind of underwhelming. It's not ones that I would go back and just watch over and over again. I think the catchiest of the bunch for me is the song for Call of the Night. It's, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Yofukashi no Uta. So I think catchiest is that one, but again, I don't know if its ending sequence, the graphics, the animation is anything that interesting. So as an overall package, I think it also has problems, but just based on song, I'm gonna go this route. But if you want to be smart, I would honestly just go with Attack on Titan. Yeah, if you want to play it smart, go with Attack on Titan. I need to take risk every once in a while, otherwise my predictions will look the same as everybody else's. Now on the flip side, I think there is a lot of worthy candidates in opening sequence. There's a lot of these that I personally really enjoyed. But I think everybody's money is going to go to this fire from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, because not only is the opening animation pretty interesting, but goddamn is that song catchy. I actually do listen to that song outside of the opening sequence. I'll just play it while driving to work sometimes, just because I do think it's a very nice song. So I think everyone will follow suit, but keep in mind there are other worthy picks here. Once again, you can go the Rumbling. I know that one's really popular. If you want to give Attack on Titan some awards, or even Zankyo Sanka, if I pronounce that correctly, for Demon Slayer, just because, again, that show is very popular, so a lot of people have definitely seen that opening. Best Continuing Series, which I actually am okay with this award, mainly because I think there's big properties like One Piece that you don't really see pop up in these award ceremonies, and it's always a shame because there are arcs that are just brilliant in One Piece as well, so why not give those its dues? I mean, could this have been something that Naruto might have been nominated for in the past? So I think big shows that just have gone on for forever but just never show up on the award show, it gives them a chance to show up here. As of right now, it's really only One Piece and JoJo that are breaking the mold here in a way, because everything else are just kind of continuations of recent series. So hopefully this evolves over time. But that being said, I'm actually going to go with Demon Slayer on this one. Yes, I'm not going to give it to One Piece. I'm sorry. I think just that Demon Slayer season is goddamn strong. And I think a lot of people are going to vote that way. Or maybe they'll go Attack on Titan. Again, I think these two are top tier in people's minds in terms of what their personal preferences are, so you just can't underestimate that popularity. Best New Series, once again, either Cyberpunk or Spy Family. I want to give it to Cyberpunk, and I probably should stick to my guns here, but I'm thinking Spy Family could maybe take home the win here. And the only reason I'm not 100% going this route is because I have seen a couple of people talk negatively about the core 2 of the season, and I know that one's not being taken into consideration for this anime award season, but again, it's a popularity contest. It's what people are going to be thinking about, so maybe more are going to go for Cyberpunk. And so yeah, I think I'm just going to go that route here. For best animation, I have to go Demon Slayer here. I said this in my review, but I think their animation is fucking god tier. ufotable just knocks it out of the park with everything that they do, so I'm going to go that route. But once again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but you got Attack on Titan as a possibility. Cyberpunk has some very unique animation. Trigger does a really good job with their style. But in terms of just looking at the best animation, if you will, that would, for me, go to Demon Slayer. All right, stick with me here. We're almost at the end. Best character design. I'm torn on this one because I think truly who deserves it is Atsuko Nozaki for Ranking of Kings, just because those designs are so different from one another. Like, no two characters look the same there. They all have, you can tell them apart so easy. Even like the minor characters, the characters that have only shown up like a small handful of times. Again, I mentioned this during the review, but it's almost like with like One Piece and how every character has like different body proportions, different face types. It's just very creative. So I think the most deserving is Ranking of Kings, but I don't know if that is the popular opinion. And as such, I want to go Yo Yoshinari for Cyberpunk Edgerunners because that one I think is popular and does have some unique character designs of their own. I don't think as unique as Ranking of Kings, but I think enough and popular, and it's popular enough that people will go that route. I think Best Original Anime is a slam dunk for Lycoris Recoil. Again, just because you're nominated for Anime of the Year doesn't mean that you win your individual categories, but I mean, how many other people have talked about any of these other series? So yeah, I think this is an easy victory for Lycoris. And good because I can't see it winning anything else. So if it goes home with one, good on it. And on that note, this is another category that I'm actually glad got introduced because some of these I've never even heard of. So I think it's a good way to kind of give shout outs to anime that maybe the general public aren't aware of and maybe give them something to go check out. And lastly, of course, Anime of the Year. Let's go over these one last time, shall we? The only anime on here that I think can potentially go home with 0 is Ranking of Kings. Not that it will definitely go home with 0. I'm not as confident in that as I was with certain nominees in the Game Awards. But I just, especially because everything it's nominated for, there's other series that are just far more popular than it. And so while it definitely deserves some of those awards, like the character design, I just don't know if it's going to end up taking them. So I feel it might very well go home with 0. I hope not, but that's kind of what I'm predicting right now. Everything else I think has a really good shot at going home with at the very least one. Lycoris Recoil, original anime, definitely there. And now the stupidest thing I've done is, as of now, I don't have Attack on Titan going home with anything, and that is wrong. Like, you can fucking comment on that. Like, you're fucking stupid, Chad. Like, it's gonna go home with something. And yes, I agree, it is gonna go home with something. I think ending sequence, opening sequence, very strong possibilities there, even if it doesn't go home with any of, like, the technical categories or genre categories. But, I don't know. Again, I like to take risks, because otherwise it's just... Again, my predictions are like everybody else's, and it's fucking boring. So, yeah, if you want to get them right, don't do what I'm doing. But if you want something unique, well, here it is. I think Demon Slayer, Spy Family, definitely going to go home with a shit ton of awards. I think those two are incredibly popular. Demon Slayer might split with Attack on Titan on some of the genres there. But I do think Anime of the Year, goes home with either Cyberpunk Edgerunners or Spy Family. And again, I would like to go Spy Family, but what is making me pause is that second core wasn't received as strongly as the first half. And I know that they're not taking the second core into consideration for this award season, but again, it's a popularity contest, so people have seen it, and it's going to affect their decision making here. So that's why I'm teetering more towards Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Now, that being said, even though that's my prediction, I think you still have to take a very strong consideration that Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer could still take home the win, because those two are massively popular shows. I would not want them to, because they've won in the past, and I'd like something new to be given the honor. Plus, to get Attack on Titan final season part two, that, like, the Anime of the Year, I don't know, you're kind of right there in the middle. You still got another 2 more seasons coming. I think if you're going to give it Anime of the Year, you can wait for that show to kind of end and kind of just give it an award as an overall for the series. So you can wait a little bit longer to give it another Anime of the Year award. Same with Demon Slayer. First season got that award. Great. It was a strong start. But I think at this point in time, we could just wait. Let's just wait for the series to end and just, at that point, maybe give it another award for the overall series. Again, depending on what else is nominated along with it. So that's my personal thoughts. Obviously, that's not what everybody's going to be thinking, but it is what I'm thinking. And as such, I'm going to go Cyberpunk Edgerunners. That's my prediction for Anime of the Year. So yes, those are my anime award predictions. What do you think? Stupid? Yes, very much so. Interesting? I also hope so. Otherwise, this video would be boring. But yeah, if there's one thing you can walk away from, is that I like to take risks with these predictions. Stupid risks. So yeah, don't do what I do. Anyways, as of the time of you watching this video, the Anime Awards are tomorrow. Technically, I'm going to be staying up, of course, to watch them at 1:30 in the morning. I will be tired, but I will still be very excited. So come back one more time for my reactions to the winners. Until then, everybody, please stay safe out there. Go watch some anime, and have a good one.